Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. In this video I'm going to show you how I rehydrate my starter that's been dried for a number of years. I'm thinking it was about 2019 when I dried this starter. So what I did, I've been making sourdough since about 2017. So what I did in 2019, previous me, current me thanks previous me for doing this, because otherwise I would have to start the whole process again. So I took a bubbly active starter and I just smeared some of it onto a silicone mat and I let it dry, or it might have been, I can't remember, it could have been baking paper. And then I got these sort of, just put it in an empty oven to dry out, and then I got these sort of flakes of, thinnish flakes of the sourdough starter. And then every time I've needed to make a new sourdough, I have done so with the leftovers. So it's actually stored in this coffee jar. I just ground it up in the coffee grinder so you can see there the texture of it. It was kind of big flakes. I don't know what to describe it of. Yeah, it's just like flakes of flour, really. Flour and water. So this is the jar that it's going to go in. So what you need is a dehydrated starter. I would recommend starting with a dehydrated starter because it's just that much easier to get going. Sorry for the car. So I'm using 2 tablespoons. Hopefully I've got 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of the starter. Let's see. Hopefully. There's actually a flake in here which I'll try to show you now. I think I'm just gonna have enough. Oh, doesn't matter. You get the idea. You can see there's bigger bits here than that. So that is 2 tablespoons of dehydrated sourdough starter, my previous sourdough starter, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of water. Room temperature water. Oh, and this is rainwater. I have a rainwater storage system, so all my sourdoughs have been fed only, you don't have to, but all my sourdoughs have been fed only rainwater. And I think I think you have to use filtered water. And I'm just stirring this with a chopstick just to get all the, maybe you can see the flakes at the top there. There are some bigger flakes. So I'm just stirring this with a spoon to get it nice and mixed up. Not a spoon, it's actually a chopstick. It's nice because it gets into all the nooks and crannies of this jar. So this starter, because all my previous starters have been boy starters, well, given boy names, this starter is going to be named Gloria Rainor, because she's fed rainwater. So I'm pretty chuffed with that name. I hope you like it too. Um, sorry, I just took a sip of my coffee, if you could hear that. I'm actually so looking forward to the to baking again with sourdough. Like I really enjoyed making sourdough bagels, although I think I only made them once. I might have made them twice, but they're nice. I really want to learn how to make sourdough French baguettes, and then just a normal sort of sandwich loaf. What I do with my sourdough when it's done is I put it into like a oblong rectangular container, just because it's easier to cut. I know those round artisanal loaves are great. They look beautiful and decorative and wonderful, but for practical purposes, because like your toppings and stuff, it just fits better on a square or rectangle shape of piece of bread. I would just make it in a rectangle container. I'll just bake it in a rectangle container. What I normally do is I bake quite a couple loaves at the same time, just because electricity is quite expensive. So when I use the oven, I just want to make sure that I use it optimally. So then what I do is I fill my oven with loaves, and I sort of share them with friends. And there's one thing I want to do after Gloria Rainor has become active and beautiful, is I want to do an experiment to see actually how long a sourdough, you can look at all the bubbles. I don't know if you can see the bubbles, like that's just from adding water. It's not, and I'm not beating it, you can see I'm just stirring it. So yeah, the activity level of this starter is making me very hopeful. And then I'm looking forward to doing an experiment. I want to see how long a loaf will last before it sort of doesn't taste okay. Like I want to do an experiment to make some, like maybe make 4 loaves and go, okay, this is like after 1 day, this is a slice after 1 week, this is a slice after 2 weeks, this is a slice after 3 weeks, out of different loaves. Because once you open it, the sort of freshness is lost. Then you need to consume it. But my understanding, I may or may not be right, my understanding is that you, like the shell, because it's so hard, sort of preserves the interior. I might be wrong, but I mean that's why I want to do the experiment, to figure it out. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to add, oops, there goes the flour everywhere. I'm going to add some flour. So I'm going to add, I don't know why this has gone lumpy. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. Just use the chopstick to level it off. There we go. 1. 2. So that will, so your ratio is pretty much 1 1 1, and that will then just sit in the jar. 1 part starter to 1 part flour to 1 part water. I think I may have to sieve this flour before I add more to the starter next time, because there's lumps in it, which I didn't expect and I didn't notice. I haven't had lumps in my flour for many years. I barely, sorry for bumping you, I barely use a sieve. So that's what the sourdough looks like, the mixture of the sourdough with the water and the flour, sourdough starter, dehydrated sourdough starter, flour and water, 1 part so of each. And let's see how this goes. There's also something else I want to do, which I'm very excited about, is once this is activated, I want to convert it to a pasta madre, which is actually, it's like more like a dough starter than a wet starter. So let's see what happens, how this goes. I might have to, yeah, so what will happen is tomorrow about this time I'll come back, discard half of the starter, and then add some more flour and water. But this time I'll be using, so for this it was easy because it's just starting, but for going forward I will rather measure by weight, my water, flour and sourdough starter. So going forward I'll do that. I'll do a quick video, or I will share it in the community post so you can see what I'm doing. Maybe give you a little daily update in the community, just so you can see what's happening with the sourdough until it gets active enough to bake with. Okay, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.